start off with quadratic trinomials. Let's understand that word. Monic means 1, like monoprinter. Monocolor means 1, so 1 means the coefficient of x squared is 1. Quadratic means there's a square. Trinomials means there are 3 terms. We're going to factorize these monic quadratic trinomials. And there's a non-monic one where there's a number in front. I'll show you both how to factorize this. So let's focus on monic because they are easier. So the rule is you find 2 numbers, PSF. Remember what they are. P is the product. They must multiply to get 12, add to get 7. Now try to think about 2 numbers which multiply to get 12, add to get 7. So what would that be? 3 and 4. So once you do that, all you have to do is just write x plus 3, x plus 4. Done. Because if you expand it, x times x is x squared, and x times 4 is 4x, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 4 is 12. See, that 12 is 3 times 4, and the 7 is 4 plus 3. That's why it works, okay, if you expand it. Any question? All right, let's try the next one. Let's do the next one. The next one has some negative. All right, so it's going to be x and x something. So multiply to get negative 10, add to get negative 3. What would that be? Well, you try some possibility. This is why I do. Negative 10 is negative 1 times 10. Negative 2 times 5. And then you can switch them over. Negative 5 times 2. Negative 10. So you try all the possible ways that could happen. And then you check which way adds up to negative 3. So obviously that just adds up to 3, isn't it? That's positive 9. That's negative 3. So only one work. So the answer will be x minus 5, x plus 2. Okay, any question? Next one. Next one, what would the next one be? X something, x something. Right, give me 2 numbers which multiply to get 6, add to get negative 5. Again, I try the possibility 1 times 6, 2 times 3. And then you also have to try negative as well. So you go equal to negative 2 times negative 3 or negative 1 times negative 6. So when it is positive, it can be both positive or both negative. So if you add them together, which one will work? Only this one, isn't it? So negative 2, negative 3. Final reminder, you two, Nat and what's the other person's name? Still learning names. Amy, yes. So we'll separate very soon. Okay, if you not pay attention. Okay, now we finished that question. Any questions? Yeah, pretty easy. Non-monic. Non-monic are those have numbers in front, and that has to be done slightly differently. Okay, we're going to look at the first one. Now for the first one, because 2 is common, I could just take it out. So it becomes x squared plus x minus 6, which means that I don't have to use any special method because this is now just monic. This is monic. So I could just go this and just write x in each bracket, right? So you can take out common factor and make it into a monic, and that will be no problem. So let's see, what would the possibility? Negative 6, you just go negative 6. What the possibility for negative 6? So negative 6 will be negative 1 and 6, negative 2 and 3. And I think this one works, isn't it? So write negative 2 plus 3. Question. Alright, so remember, always look for common factors so that the non-monic becomes a monic. Yep, okay. Now, the next one, it can't become monic because 3 is not common. So you have to use a different way. Let me show you which. So there's many different ways, but I'm going to show you this way. Maybe you've learned that already. You multiply the 3 by the negative 5. That becomes your product. 3 times negative 5, which is negative 15. So find 2 numbers which multiply to get negative 15, but add to get 14. So you have to find the factors. So what are the numbers? Negative 15 and multiply to get negative 15, add to get 14. What would that be? Let me ask a student. Sharon. Oh, she's not here. What's her name? Milson. No, Lisa. Yeah. Give me two numbers which multiply to get negative 15, add to get 14. Perfect. Thank you. 15 minus 1. Now, you can't do it like the monic case. Just write the numbers inside the bracket. This is what you need to do. Pay careful attention. So, this one, split the 14 into two parts. Into 15t and negative t. Okay? Split into two parts. And then everything else, no change. So, you just write them normally. Like that. That's your first step, is to split. First step is to split the middle term. Split the middle term. Middle term. Alright, after we split the middle term, we're going to factorize in pairs because there are 4 terms altogether. So you write 3t, t plus 5. And the second one, there's a common factor of negative 1, so t plus 5. So when it's just a negative sign, just put a negative 1 in front. Can you see now t plus 5 is now common? So you take out the common factor, which is t plus 5. And then you write 3t minus 1 inside. And that's your factorization. Any question? Is that the way you were taught in year 10 or you were taught in a different way? Different way. Okay, let's do that different way. I think maybe this is the way. I think you do this. It's like you go 3t, and then over 3. Yeah, let's do it this way. Okay. So you just write 3 because the first number is 3. You write 3t. But this step is still the same. You still need the 15 and minus 1. So you just write the 15 over here and minus 1 over there. Right? And what you need to do is to take out a common factor, which is 3. See, the first one has a common factor of 3. So you end up getting 3 bracket t plus 5, 3t minus 1. Because the 3 in the denominator always needs to be cancelled. If you don't cancel, you made a mistake. So your final answer will just be t plus 5, 3t minus 1, as we got before. So you can use both ways. So I'm going to use this way from now on because that's the way you were taught. So we'll just write 3t, but put the 15 here, put the minus 1, and make sure you factorize. Maybe that way is easier, I think, rather than split the terms. Okay, any questions? Good. All right, part C, what do I do? I always check, can you take a common factor out? No, you can't. You can't turn it into monic, so you have to do it like that. So you have to write PSF, so P is, make sure you times 2 and negative 12 together, which is negative 24. Sum is negative 5, and the factors are, this one's a bit tricky, so you may have to write a few factors out and check which one works. Alright, anyone got the numbers? Yes, Kira? Say again, 8 and minus 8? 8 and minus 3. Does it work? Yes, it does. Oh no, hang on, I have to get negative 5. No, 8 minus 3 is positive 5. 3 and minus 8, that's better. 3 and negative 8. So what you do is this, you write 2r over 2. Okay? And then you write negative 8 here, plus 3 here, and see there's a common factor of 2 in the first bracket. So take that out, and then the rest no change. So you get r minus 4 inside, 2r plus 3, and the 2 has to cancel. So your final answer will just be r minus 4, r minus 4, 2r plus 3. Oh, it doesn't work sometimes. Okay, any question? Done? That's monic and non-monic quadratic trinomial. Make sure you show working in your book. That's So this is, before you turn over, this is exercise 2.9. This is exercise 2.10. So you do these two. So right, 2.9 is the mnemonic. Yeah, 2.10 is the mnemonic. All right, let's go to the next page. There's more factorizing. There's factorizing perfect squares. Hopefully you remember how to expand these. We're now going to go reverse, going backwards. Starting from the perfect square. Now note the structure. Note the structure. The structure is a square plus b square, and you have a middle term 2ab. Now to check whether this is a perfect square, you just have to write like this, x squared. Write the a as 2 times 4x, right? 2 times 4 is 8. And then the 16 is 4 squared. So when you see the structure, a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, there's a shortcut. You can just write x minus 4 all squared. Okay? Or if you can't remember this, you can always use the PSF. So just go product is 16, negative 8, so it will be negative 4, negative 4. So notice that if they're perfect square, the factors are always the same. So you go x minus 4, which is same as the perfect square. Okay? You can do it this way. So whenever you get the same factors, means it's going to be a perfect square. Okay? Because you get the same brackets, same thing in each bracket. But it's going to save you time with this one because you don't need to use the 4a, isn't it? Right? That's going to take long. So we can use the perfect square method. So how do I use the perfect square method? So you need to write that as 2a all square as your first term. Second term is you're going to write plus 2, you must have a 2 in front, times 2a times 5, isn't it? And the last one is 5 squared. So once you fit that structure, you can then write that as bracket square, the first term 2a, and the last term 5. That's it. That's factorizing perfect square. Faster than the factorization. Okay? Any question? Once we are done, we can then do the next formula called the difference of two squares. Not to get confused with the perfect square, this is difference of two squares. A bit different. Okay, let's see what that works. So you've done expansion, so hopefully you remember this expansion. So if I expand the right side, one with the minus, one with the plus, it's going to get a squared minus b squared. Okay? So this is a very important formula. Lots of things can be factorized using difference of two squares, because you can write that as x squared minus 3 squared is in this form, and then you can write in two brackets, one with the minus, one with the plus. Any question? This is the difference of two squares. It doesn't matter whether you write the minus first or the plus first, it's the same thing. You can still write x plus 3, then x minus 3. They're the same. They're both correct. Any questions? Try the next one. Right, how about the next one? Remember to write that as something squared minus something squared. That's your first step. So the first one is 3x all squared, and the second one is 4 squared. Yep. Which means you can write that as one with the plus, one with the minus. So this is 3x plus 4. The other one is 3x minus 4. Any questions? All right, we've got one more to do, and then we are done. So you're going to go, this is y to the power 4. So you can write that as y squared squared. Okay? And the k is k squared squared. Right? After you do this, you can write y squared minus k squared, y squared plus k squared. But be careful, it's not finished, because this is still a difference of two squares. You can break it into further. This is finished. There's no formula to factorize sum of squares, but there is a formula to factorize difference of two squares. You go one step further, y minus k, y plus k. And the second and the last factor remains unchanged. And then we are done. Any question? So today you're going to do 4 exercises, but you just have to do a few questions from each. So this is exercise 2.12. The other one is 2.11. And then what you need to do, where's my, is it on there? Yep, it is. So we are up to here. So you write today's date, which is 14th. 14th of February. Was it handed out? Alright, there's plenty of copy here. Must be forgotten. Alright, so get this, write the date. Sorry. Write the date, 14 February 14. And you just have to do maybe 5 questions from each, or more if you have got time. 5 questions each. 5 questions. Or more, at least 5. Okay? And what was the date for last week? Last week was 9, isn't it? So make sure you write the date for the 9. I thought that was handed out. 9, 9, 9, 9, right? And the lesson before was it 7 or 6? I think 6, isn't it? So I think it is 6, 6, 6, 6. Alright, back date. Alright, you're ready to start? There's textbook at the back. Yep, you know, good. At the back cupboard. Any question? Thank you. Everyone got a copy? Thank you. That's good. So we're going to stop my video first.